BCAAs. We hear about this supplement all the time in the fitness and supplement industry. Are they really worth your money? Who might benefit from them and who probably won't? The branched chain amino acids, or BCAAs, are essentially 3 different amino acids which are found in high concentrations in our muscle. And when you combine these amino acids with other amino acids, you form whole protein. BCAAs come naturally through our diet and are found in various amounts in different protein sources, with the highest amounts being found in stuff like animal meats, dairy products, whey protein, eggs. It can also be supplemented as a dietary supplement. One last important thing to note about BCAAs is that our bodies cannot make them, which means that they must come through our diet in some form, either through the foods we eat or through a dietary supplement. What exactly do BCAAs do? Why are they important? When we exercise, our bodies increase the rate at which it breaks down these BCAAs. So this isn't a good or a bad thing itself. It's just what our bodies do when we exercise. They increase the rate at which they break down BCAAs for energy. And because a large amount of these BCAAs are found in our muscle, if we can reduce the amount that our body breaks down during exercise, this will result in less muscle protein breakdown and less muscle damage, which means that in the long term, this will lead to quicker recovery, more complete recovery, and increase the chance of building new muscle or retaining the current muscle you already have. Along with being used as a source of energy when we exercise, the BCAAs, and specifically leucine, when it's ingested either through food or through a supplement, is also used to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, so it helps you to build new muscle. Thirdly, because the BCAAs are oxidized or degraded or broken down when we exercise, supplementing with them either before or as we work out may help to reduce both physical and mental fatigue in some people under certain circumstances by preventing a decline in the blood levels of BCAAs. This has been shown to be the case in longer, more prolonged activities like hiking and biking, and also in individuals who are more novice, more beginner level compared to those which are more experienced. At this point, you're probably thinking, wow, supplementing with BCAAs makes a whole lot of sense. They help to maybe reduce fatigue, they help to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, and our bodies break them down whenever we exercise, so if we can get more BCAAs in, then we'll reduce muscle damage. However, remember that BCAAs are naturally found in the foods that we eat, and so depending on whether we need to supplement with additional BCAAs is really dependent upon our protein intake and specifically the protein sources which are higher in the BCAAs. So regardless of what your goals are, whether it's gaining, maintaining, or cutting, if you are consuming sufficient amounts of protein, and specifically high quality protein, high in the BCAAs, through your diet, then there isn't any good research to show that supplementing with additional BCAAs is really going to provide any benefit in terms of increasing muscle mass. So those few situations where someone may benefit from supplementing with additional BCAAs are: 1, if your protein intake is low or you don't consume a lot of those food sources which are high in the BCAAs, then you may benefit from additional BCAA supplementation. This is sometimes common in vegetarians, in vegans, or in people who just don't like to eat protein. A good example would be if you're going through like a really intense cutting phase and your calories are low and you're at a higher risk of muscle loss anyway, then you may benefit from supplementing with additional BCAAs if your protein intake is insufficient. And that's the big key, because even if you're cutting, even if you're going through like a harder fat loss phase, if your protein intake is where it needs to be, then again, there really isn't a whole lot of need for additional BCAA supplementation. Besides people who don't get enough protein in either quantity or quality, one other scenario where people might benefit from supplementation is if you train fasted in the morning. If you train fasted, that means you haven't eaten for a long time, so the amount of BCAAs in your GI system, in your bloodstream, it's going to be lower. So if we supplement with BCAAs before we work out, this could help to reduce the amount of muscle protein breakdown, muscle damage that happens during that exercise. It can help to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, and it may help to reduce fatigue. As we can see though, the amount of people who would benefit from BCAA supplementation is really small, and it really only falls into two categories. One, if you don't eat enough protein in either quantity or quality, or you train fasted in the morning. Outside of those two scenarios, there really isn't a whole lot of need to supplement with extra BCAAs. And honestly, in both of those situations, it would be just as easy to supplement with whey protein, which is high in BCAAs, plus it contains a broad spectrum of other amino acids, which may be more beneficial anyway. If you are someone who does fall into one of those few select categories where BCAA supplementation might be beneficial, or let's say your body just doesn't handle whey protein too well, then the amount you would take would really be dependent upon your protein intake. However, just to give you some general guidelines for an amount that you could take either with a meal or as a pre or post workout would be, if you are 135 pounds or less, a dosing of 10 to 12.5 grams of total BCAAs with a 2 to 1 to 1 ratio of leucine to isoleucine to valine. If you're between 135 and 167, a dosing of 12.5 to 15 grams following that same ratio. If you're 167 to 200 pounds, a dosing of 15 grams to 18 grams, and again that same ratio. And then 200 plus pounds would be a dosing of somewhere between 18 to 20 grams of total BCAAs. Again, those are just general guidelines, and the amount that you would need would really be dependent upon your specific situation and protein intake. However, under most circumstances, those are good general guidelines to go by. I'm not recommending or suggesting that anyone supplement with BCAAs. I'm merely just providing the facts, that way you guys can make a better, more informed decision for yourselves. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, and while you're down there, just go ahead and click that conveniently located subscribe button, and share this video with someone who you think might enjoy it. If you have any ideas for future topics or supplements you'd like to see a video on, just leave them in the comment section below. I'll see you guys soon.